going to annoy you with the next one as well now, the earworm. So we get a bit bigger.
The Global School Alliance is an amazing online community to connect schools and educators around the world. Through collaborating with each other and giving opportunities for students to deliver global citizen skills to be job creators and job seekers. Let us welcome the Global Schools Alliance. Let us welcome the Global Schools Alliance. The Global School Alliance will lift up education for all students from around the world. Let us embrace it with too much peace and joy, was the only solution for education for all.
Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to shut that down and start. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to stop that properly. And welcome to the last virtual conference of the year. How sad is that? But I can't believe that's the end of 2021. I think some people might say good riddance, but there you go. And welcome to everybody. As usual, can we use the chat, introduce ourselves, say hi. We've got a really full and exciting evening or afternoon or morning, whatever time it is with you. Most of you are aware of the Global School Alliance. If you're not and you're new to us, then please check us out. The Global School Alliance is an amazing online community. Our aim is to obviously connect and collaborate with people all around the world, schools, educators, with the outcome basically to improve educational standards and to support each other. And that's what we have found. It's an amazing supportive place to be part of. So if you're not already a member, you should be. You can join as a teacher, you can join as a school. We also have Ambassador Pros who are a bit more proactive. Of course, it's a free community, so please come along and join in and help us develop this to be a community that suits you as well. We want as much input from you members as possible. We've got some exciting things to take part in. We're developing a lot more online programs at the moment because obviously travel isn't possible. So we've got some online immersive courses from China and Spain to have a look at. If you're in the UK, we found some funding. We like to signpost funding and opportunities for you whenever we can. So in the UK, the British government now have Turing funding scheme to replace one we lost from Brexit. It replaces the Erasmus Plus scheme, so we can help you with that. We've got lovely, exciting things on the platform that you can use to help share with each other, such as the culture postcards. I love the culture postcards, and every school has participated in some way. And each of the conferences, we're going to have a focus on a different country because we've got so many members now. So this week, I don't know if you know what the flag is, it's Romania. So we've got some fantastic members from Romania, and I've got some lovely postcards that they've been sharing with you. These are all on the platform for you to share. You can share with your school, to share with each other, but they've been really creative and done some great things. So Morella's done a fantastic one here. I love the blue and red around the outside. We've got one from Liliana. I'm not going to try and pronounce your school names, guys. I'll probably get it wrong. But there's some really nice ideas here, what people have put together to share their culture. So obviously there's a bit about the school and the local culture. So this is all about Romania, which all these postcards make me want to go and visit your places as soon as travel's possible. I'm there. Romania is definitely one on the list. So these are amazing postcards that people, another one from Amina here, Nicoletta, thank you, Tatiana. There's so many different ways you can do your postcards. So please share them. They're on their platform. And like I say, this whole conference today is all about what's happened in 2021 and the Global School Alliance. We've had a fantastic year. We've had, how many is that? 10,800 delegates. So 2021 has been a great year for the Global School Alliance, and it's only going to get better. I think our aim is, we're aiming for the 50,000 mark there, but with over 5,000 schools participating from 117 different countries. And a lot of you guys have never even heard of the countries. I think it's amazing. So welcome, and please let's continue to grow this fantastic platform for everybody. We'll be having a Padlet running all during the conference with the question of what have you learned. So please share hopefully the positive stuff, or things that you've learned, things that have, you know, helped you perhaps, or that you can help other people, things you've learned to do, things you've learned not to do, useful suggestions, please. But please use the Padlet. We'll be sharing it with everybody. The link is here and will be shared in the chat as well. So look out for that. 2022 is already promising to be exciting. So we've got lots of events lined up. We have our regular conferences like this, so there'll be monthly ones. We've got a calendar here. So looking at January, we've got the What's Exciting in Education will be on the 13th, which is where lots of people, what's exciting coming up, latest innovations, obviously tech innovation, that sort of thing to share with you. We've got our next VC in January, which is looking forward to 2022. It's on the 27th, and we've got our student councils as well running. The secondary is on the 13th and the primary is on the 20th. And the student councils is, we want to give students agency, we want to give them a voice. So this is where students from all over the world come together and do projects together. The two age groups have been separated out, but this is where they are in control. Teachers are there for safeguarding, but the students run the councils, which is awesome. At the moment, we're designing logos for what they're going to use for memberships and that sort of thing. So coming up, the What's Exciting, you can register now for your What's Exciting in January. Get prepared. So I'm all into preparation. And guys, we've got the usual photograph session. So can we all please put your cameras on? We like to see your faces. Show us you there. Put your cameras on. We're going to have a photo opportunity now. So I'll give you 2 minutes to give your hair a brush, practice your smile. And my colleagues are going to be taking some screenshots of photos. You want to give me a thumbs up, Yasmin, when we can all stop smiling? And I can shut my mouth, because I always have my mouth open when we take these photographs. Right, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you so much, guys. Nice. I say, use the chat as well to introduce yourselves, tell you where you're from. We're also, like I say, I like to get you all engaged. So we've got we're only having one survey tonight because we want to move on and hear from the fantastic speakers, and we've got a couple of sponsors as well. We've got some exciting things to share with you, but well, let's have a look. Well, I think, Yasmin, are you okay to start the survey? I want you to tell us what do you think this year has actually helped you with? So how has it improved your teaching? The challenges and the trials we've had this year, always, I think trials and challenges lead to innovation, lead to creativity. So have a share with us, please. Have we started the poll? Are we able to take part in our survey?
It's not letting me start it. I think someone's logged in.
Are we not able to run the poll? Maybe we'll run this poll later, but I wanted to hear from you lot really for feedback, to see, because I think a lot of things there have been silver linings to this pandemic and this painful year of changes and mixtures of different offline learning, hybrid learning, online learning, and face-to-face getting very confusing. I think a lot of lessons have been learned, but lots of useful things might have come out of it as well. So maybe when we can run the survey a bit later on. So I'm going to skip past that one. Okay, so the agenda for today, I've done my waffle. I'm doing my waffle at the beginning to introduce you and say how wonderful it is to see you all, and to introduce some fantastic speakers we've got lined up for you. Robert is going to be our first speaker. He'll be joining us soon. And then we've got Mona, and then we've got Irfan. Okay, and in between we've got a couple of sponsors for you, who are sponsoring the webinar to share with you some exciting innovations. So these are our wonderful speakers who will be speaking to you later. Our sponsors are Inventory and WeBox. And I think we're going to hear from Inventory first. Are we okay to have just a 5 minutes? Sorry. So if I stop sharing, are we okay? Inventory, are you okay just to hand over, if I hand over to you for your 5 minute sharing with our members? Is that who's
Should be Stefan. Stephen.
Stephen.
Yep.
Stephen, are you there?
Hi,
Stephen,
yes, I am.
wonderful.
I lost my internet entirely, had to reboot the whole house, and I've just joined back again.
Oh, how scary is that?
I know.
So take a deep breath, Stephen.
I was watching everyone froze, and I was thinking, is this, please don't say this is me. And anyway, I think it's all the kids coming home from school in Scotland have just got on the PlayStation.
Fantastic. Okay, if you want to share screen and share
Sure.
with the members, that'd be lovely. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Okay, let me just check. I'm going to share my sound as well. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Is that okay? Is that visible now?
Yes, thank you.
Good stuff. Okay. All right. Okay, so yeah, first of all, I'd like to share Inventory. Inventory is a sign-in and visitor management system, and it is used now widely across the world. And we've got over 9,000 installations at various schools, a lot of which are in Europe and the UK. But this year, it's been a really big year for us in the Middle East, in the Far East, Vietnam, Hong Kong, Taiwan. Obviously, the normal suspects in the Middle East, where there's a large number of independent schools with a British or American curriculum. The system itself, basically, it provides visibility of everyone on site at any time. So you can imagine all the uses in schools for a system like this. Who's the first aider when someone has an accident? Which parents are in? Are visitors easily recognizable? Who are the contractors that are on site as well? As I say, we do work with lots of international schools, hence the reason we're on here. And we also integrate with lots of most of the major international MIS systems. So just some of the examples that integration would provide: pulls the data for a fire evacuation of everyone that's in. When students come in late, it just fires that in one click into the MIS system with the late mark, etc. So really reduces a lot of the administration that would be normally required on a day-to-day basis. You know, importantly, in the last couple of years as well, we've developed a number of additional COVID features like health declarations and just checking people when they come in, just doing a bit of extra due diligence in terms of where they've been, who they live with, and any symptoms that they might be suffering from as well. The screen itself, obviously before COVID, we had this system and it was still really popular. And one of the reasons for that is that it really presents a nice front of house. No need for any of the sign-in books that you'll probably have at your school just now, but we'll have a nice 20-inch touchscreen PC to be able to sign in on. On here, we've just got it branded with Inventory, but that can be your own logos, your own backgrounds that you'd pull from your website and put onto the system. So a really nice, impressive front of house for any prospective students or parents of students. We've also got quick scans for different entry exit points. So not everyone has to come past the screen. You can have multiple screens, or you could just have maybe a car park entrance or a gate that staff perhaps come through or that parents are allowed through. And with an RFID card or a QR code, they can just scan in using these much smaller systems called quick scans that would sit on the network. The system itself, it's about not just about sign-in, it's about the whole kind of management of visitors coming on site or contractors coming on site. And we can send customized invitations as well to your visitors, again with QR codes that allow them to sign in really easily, including any policies that you've got for the school, maybe safeguarding, don't take photos, maybe COVID policies if there's a one-way system or something along those lines. And they can be linked to that invitation along with directions from a live Google link too. The system as well also keeps, for those familiar with a single central record, that information can be included in the system as well. So for example, do your substitute teachers have a teaching qualification, a right to work in the country? Do they have a first aid certification if that's what they require? That can all be kept in the system. You can determine what you want. And if any of those people try to sign in and any of those are out of date or missing, it wouldn't allow those people to sign in. In addition to Inventory, and really popular amongst the international school marketplace, is our app. So this allows you to go outside and when there's a fire evacuation, just see exactly who's on site. It can be filtered by class. You can run through the app really quickly. It can, if there's more than one fire marshal or more than one muster point, again, all of the devices that are being used will talk to one another. We've also got trip management in there as well, allowing you to take emergency contact info and medical details with you on trips. All the security that a phone provides in comparison to a folder. If you were to lose that data, obviously there's face recognition, passcodes, and you can even turn your phone off from a remote location. Inventory also allows you to create clubs for after-school activities, maybe wraparound services, breakfast clubs, etc. And overall, the purpose of Inventory, as well as adding all of that additional safeguarding, It's very much to save administration time and produce reports for you, whether that is student lates, staff attendances, all of that kind of information can be captured within inventory and easily reported on. I've got a little video to show you how it's being used at some other schools. So I'll just play that, which is about a minute and a half long.
Obviously, we looked at other systems as well. Inventory was the only one that tied up with our management information system. All the others would have meant that we didn't have that link between the personnel we already have in school and people signing in, and it just was clunky, didn't work. Yeah, whereas this, very smooth, very streamlined, it's like it's designed to be.
With our pupil information system that we have, it feeds directly into inventory and vice versa.
If a child is late, they have to use inventory. They have to log on using the child's name, and then that feeds through to our management system in the office. So if they're continually late, then we've got a continuous record.
They actually work really well together, because anybody who we have coming into school who has been, does have a DBS, they're on the system, and it picks up the information from our SIM system. So all our governor, staff and pupil information is automatically in the system as and when we need it.
And it means that we can take a snapshot at 9:30 in the morning and see which children are in school, and then we can check up, we can follow up if anybody isn't here, and we really understand our attendance constantly.
So all of the information about your staff and your pupils feeds through to inventory. So when I check in, inventory knows that I'm a member of school staff because Sims tells them I'm a member of school staff. Likewise, when we have any people, for example, who run clubs, so we have outside providers who come and run clubs, they're registered on our management information system, and they're registered with the DBS and all the other safeguarding checks we need to do. That feeds through to inventory, so inventory knows they're there, there's their name, they come in, they sign in, they press their photo and their name, and it's already there.
Okie doke. So that's a little snapshot of inventory. We've got various case studies that I can share with you. So if you'd like to contact me, like a live demonstration of the system, then obviously, please, I'd be delighted to speak to you. Thank you.
Is that it? Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, that's my 5 minutes. I can go on.
And you know what? That was amazing. Well done. I'm just checking. Rob, are you with us yet? Because our next speaker is actually Rob Ford, but I have a feeling, I know he was in a governor's meeting, so I'm not quite sure if he's managed to join us yet. Rob, are you with us? I know everybody's looking forward to hearing from you. Anyway, I have a feeling he hasn't managed to join us just yet. So looking at the speakers, I was just wondering, Mona, do you think you'd be able to jump in maybe? Because I say Rob was technically supposed to be doing now, but I'm sure we can, the next, oh, actually, I'm going to, if I can do Mona as a speaker and come back to the next sponsor after that. Mona, would you be able to, if I stop sharing, would you be able to share, and we can hear from Mona before Rob, if that's okay? Sorry if I'm messing the itinerary up. And to jump in and to forcing Mona to jump in. Mona, are you there? Would you like to, thank you. Share screen, you're still muted though. If you want to unmute and share the screen, that'd be lovely. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mona, music teacher. I'm Egyptian, but now I'm working in Sultan of Oman in Hayy Shrouk International School. I'm responsible of music department. Actually, I want to say my life in 2021 was very hard. I'm music teacher. You know, music is not easy to, it's not easy to study music online. And because of COVID, we have to do that online. So I started to to teach music to my students. Hello?
You okay there, Mona? Are you able to put it as a presentation mode for your, can you hear us?
Hello.
We can hear you,
Hi.
Mona. Can you hear us? Are you able to put it in presentation mode?
Hello?
We can hear you, Mona. Can you hear us?
Hi.
Mona, we can
Hi.
hear you.
If you click on slideshow
I don't know if she can hear
on the
us.
icon.
Mona?
Hello?
Mona, we can hear you.
I don't know if you hear me or no, but I think it's something in.
We can.
We can hear you, dear. Go ahead.
Please carry on, Mona. Can you hear us? Oh dear. Mona, maybe if you stop sharing the screen.
Mona, we can hear you and we can see your screen as well. So in case if you can hear me, please carry on.
I think, is she there? Have we lost her? Yasmin, can you see Mona still there? She's sharing the screen, but I
yeah.
can't see her.
I can see her and I can see her screen, but I don't know.
Yeah, actually, she's still here, yeah.
Mona, can you hear us? Are you able to stop sharing maybe? Oh, she has done. Mona?
She's not in the meeting. I think she's dropped out.
I think she's just trying to reconnect again. So
maybe she'll reconnect. We give Mona 2 minutes. Otherwise, fans stand by. Actually, I think Rob has joined us now. Are we allowed? Can we let Rob in? Rob, have you joined us?
Yeah, I can see Rob has joined in.
Can he hear us?
Welcome,
welcome, Rob Ford. I'm sorry to throw you went straight at the deep end the minute you joined us. We had tried to get Mona to speak, but we've lost her. So, are you okay to share? If I stop sharing,
my apologies to everybody. I've just had my end of semester 1 governors meeting. I thought it was going to be an easy one in terms that the governors meetings are never easy, are they? Come on, what am I saying? You think that we've given them every piece of information they want, and they want to grill us and grill us. So my apologies, everybody. It was scheduled to finish right at 6, but well, 4 o'clock your time. So thank you. Sorry, Tony.
Oh, thank you. Take a deep breath and come. Wonderful. So are you okay to share your screen and go ahead? I think everyone's desperate to hear from you.
Right, sure. Give me a moment to get that. I'm going to do the classic. Right, can you see my screen? Right, can you see the presentation?
Yes, but if you put it in presentation mode, it'll be fine. Thank you.
Okay. Right. Borada, buonasera, privyet. My apologies again. Thank you for this opportunity. I just want to say, first of all, working with Global School Alliance for our school and over this year has been a phenomenal experience. It's connected us to many different audiences. It's given opportunities to lots of people within this school. I won't do a map of Moldova. I'll assume you know where we are, but we're sandwiched between Ukraine and Romania. And as you can tell from my accent, I'm not local. I worked in the UK as principal of the brilliant Wydene School down there in the Forest of Dean next to Chepstow. Worked in Bristol and Wootton Bassett and in Wales as well. I'm a long-standing British Council advisor, and you can ask me why I decided to come all the way 3,000 kilometers on the other side of Europe. I didn't think there was going to be a pandemic at that moment in my career development. So I've always believed in the power of international learning as a school leader. I'm a history and politics teacher by trade. And the transformative power that it has on the organization, on the school, on the community, on the aspirations of the children, of the professional development of teachers and support staff, on leadership, to put you into arenas, as we all know, this is why we're here, into those arenas where we're not just talking to the school down the road, and we are getting different contexts, we're getting different examples. That's basically why we see the power of this, and the more opportunities and the more development we have. I think one of my frustrations with the UK system and the English system is the kind of one size fits all, and also the capricious politicization that we've had, you know, to and from, especially in the last decade or so. And what I love about international education is that exponential way of finding different things that will suit your circumstances, or a development which isn't owned by an edu celebrity or somebody who's sort of selling their book on things. So that's me. Heritage International School is the first international school in Moldova. Let's just hide that. It was established about 4 or 5 years ago. If you know anything about Moldova, we can throw the labels around of one of Europe's poorest countries and 2 million people, huge problems of migration. It's had corruption, it's a post-Soviet state, it's dealing with all the challenges of that. But the founders had a really strong vision for this school, and it might seem a slight odd dichotomy that we've set up a private international school group here, and the income disparities and the inequalities in wealth and opportunity and all those kind of things. But actually, this has had a huge impact on the development of education in this country. And there's no international school in Moldova. It's not very outward facing. It's one of the least visited countries in Europe. It doesn't have a huge tourist industry. And at the same time, the value of education and educators is so strong. And actually, what all young people of this country need, rich or poor, depending, it doesn't matter who your parents are, is some hope, because all students, kind of 84%, I think the last poll was this week, want to leave this country and not come back. And that huge skills migration is going to have a sort of devastating effect on the future of this part of the world. And that is mirrored across Eastern Europe. So for me, the founders wanting to have this international education and this first international school, and we're based on the Cambridge curriculum, so IGCSEs and A-levels. The British Council have been superb. We're the first international school award school here. We went through COBIS, which is the Overseas British International Schools. I've got to say, these wonderful networks, this benchmarked us against the best international schools. I needed my safeguarding to be at this standard and not just the national standard. I needed to have the development of curriculum, of well-being, of diversity, equalities, and inclusion policy at that level. I needed to have child protection at that level. And being in that COBIS group also gives us another network of, we're in the Black Sea School groups, so our near neighbours within COBIS, as well as the wider network. And that has a huge effect on how I develop my next generation of leaders, my middle leaders, how my support staff can see a more modern organization working as opposed to a more authoritarian sort of Soviet, post-Soviet organization. So this is Heritage. It's an all through 6 to 19. We're effectively 3 schools with a primary and a gymnasium and a sixth form. We have a couple of kindergartens. We've got some sister schools as well within the group. We have a language academy and a summer school. We work with eTwinning. That's been really, really crucial to how we, again, connect classrooms, connect cultures, bringing those opportunities on a range of curriculum issues into our school, getting our students to talk to other students daily, to look at pertinent issues around climate change, sustainability. My colleague, Head of Global Education here, Tatiana Popper, has done a huge amount of work and is a very proud GSA ambassador. We're in the IPC, the International Primary Curriculum by Fieldwork Education for our primary. And what we've been able to do, even despite the pandemic, is continue to build that reputation up. And I want to talk through what have we learned from this year as we go into the sort of ominous Omicron year of 2022, which we're all now starting to sort of wonder how much more resilience we need and what we need to do with our schools and our education for our young people to give them that certainty in these very uncertain times. But I would say that one of the standout moments for me in this pandemic and the value of the team that it's a privilege to be a part of in this school and to lead is that they were able to switch over almost immediately in March 2020 to a distance learning program because of all their work extensively with, you know, working online with schools around the world. Being in Moldova, you get used to crises. you get used to things not working properly. And so people respond, and people have learned not to rely so much on the state or the centre for answers all the time. So we were able to work with our national education community, because we didn't want our colleagues in other schools, they wouldn't have got paid. They're on low wages as it is. So they were going to wait months and months and months without no school. So we had the minister and his team came here, and we were able to share all of that, give thousands of training hours for free, share what we knew, what we were doing, and that had a huge impact. And that sort of outward facing mentality in our national community, so getting ourselves out of this bubble of privilege and elitism and actually showing a more stronger purpose in our wider society, was absolutely crucial. And developing the sort of the idea of sort of duty, of public service, and modeling that for our community and our students. So in my opinion, when I looked at the brief for this, what have we learned over this past year? And, you know, I've just been delivering the school improvement plan and the December RAG ratings to my board, and I still want to make the joke about, well, just put survive and thrive as the SIP, basically, because that's what it feels like sometimes. But actually, we're in quite a unique privileged position in our role as school leaders or working with young people. And one of the first things that I realized as I went into the summer and took a breath, like we all did, from a hectic, unprecedented year, was we've got to make the most of the moments. And that didn't really hit me, because we've been so focused on an existentialist crisis, of crisis management, of being faced with things that I don't remember any of those units on my MPQH courses, but we've had to really find solutions and adapt in a way that, you know, we never thought of in our careers, and none of us have been faced with this. I know lots of people, you know, talking about everybody's a newbie and a rookie when we start this thing. So for us, it was to make sure we got back to those moments that we were losing from school, because this is the glue. This is the thing that makes our students able to kind of leave their baggage behind as much as they can, our staff exhausted, but at the same time, we create the optimism, we create the resilience, we create the atmosphere. So for us, we've celebrated all sorts of things this year. I wanted to make Eastern Europe and the old sort of Soviet areas have a really strong emphasis on the 1st of September to have this celebration. I really wish we could replicate that back in the UK. I know we look forward to the 1st of September, we get our new shoes from Clark's and our new pencil cases and all the rest of it, new school uniform that gets wrecked on the first day. But here they have this really wonderful moment of students coming into school, nice celebrations, flowers. It really celebrates learning and education and young people, and it really makes you feel very special. And those are the moments in the distance learning we weren't able to do so much of. So we made sure we did that. Moments like the Thanksgiving, moments like, again, another one which is perhaps more celebrated here, World Teachers' Day, honouring all the students, the student council, honouring the teachers as they came through the school gates, making them feel special. And none of this is new. We do it all in our schools all the time. You know, Jumpers Day and Conker. I did Conkers on purpose because I had a joke at the British Embassy that health and safety had gone crazy and we can't do Conkers anymore. But that was really important. And as a new school, to celebrate our first cohort through on IGCSE, so we did an incredible graduation ceremony. Cambridge been very supportive throughout this. But again, celebrating success, celebrating achievement, making sure that it's not all about grumbling about wearing masks. We do all that. It's part of our school cultures now. We know what it is. We have never stopped wearing masks in our classrooms. We don't have anti-vaxxers on the gate, I'm pleased to say. We don't have people challenging me legally about their human rights because a child has to put a mask on to be able to keep our school safe. And I'll share my statistics from our school. We had a vaccination program where 95% of all staff, ancillary as well, nearly 200 people, were double vaccinated. We're going to go to the booster program next, and that's fine. We'll keep adapting to make sure we make the most of the moments. We didn't lose focus on our wider educational purpose as an international school. So the central mission of making sure our global citizens who will interact and work with their peers around the world will get opportunities like our founders' lectures to listen to great people from all sorts of walks of life, give them experiences and challenge them and make them curious. We didn't lose the development of critical thinking. We didn't lose our social responsibility, working with the local dog shelters here. We're currently working with Children's Home with vulnerable children. we made sure that our values ran through our assemblies. And we just recently did Human Rights Day and had a whole day based on. That's really important for a society like Moldova, who came late to this sort of this debate. But recently, Moldova ratified the Istanbul Convention, which protects women, and in particular in domestic violence, and having that debate and looking at that challenge within their society of what our human rights are, why we have them, and why they should be an integral part of our national laws and national sort of culture. But all these things keep our students as global citizens, taking part in the sustainability conferences, the climate change action. So for me, focusing on the wider purpose and developing those individuals, and we can see from all these pictures, you know, how we've adapted the wearing of the masks, the online, sort of conferences with speakers. We've been taking part in debating competitions virtually and online. That was an incredible moment for our students to make sure they're keeping in touch with their peers, that we're breaking the isolation all the time. We showcase and celebrate everything. I mean, I think all schools do that anyway, but I think we've got to make sure we keep shouting about what's happening. And it might not seem big to you occasionally because good things happen in schools and there's so many things going on. But for us, I mean, I've just come out of the meeting now, and one of the governors who's in Turkey has been really pleased to hear about the primary spelling bee competition because one of his colleagues told him about it. And for this child, of this parent, that was a huge moment for him in semester one. And I think losing sight of showcasing and celebrating and, you know, making sure we don't forget, you know, that school should be about enjoyment, as hard as it may be, and as sometimes as difficult as to explain some of the world right now to young people. And again, working within a global framework, finding like-minded schools, finding like-minded organizations and support and networks. I've been really privileged this year to be involved with the Teacher Task Force group with the Valky Foundation. And this network has been really powerful and important for me as a school leader, because I often feel very isolated in my role. As we know, it can be lonely in school leadership, but in particular, on the other side of Europe, my family are in the UK, my wife and 3 daughters, my dog, getting back and forth is so difficult. And so when we're looking at where do we support ourselves or where do we talk to like-minded colleagues, these things are really important for our own well-being as well as leaders. So showcasing, celebrating anything. And I suppose running through all of this, my 4th one is the power of a positive school culture and an outward-facing mindset. Now, when I went to Wydeen, and very fortunate to take over a remarkable school and school community, and everyone told me it's the Harry Potter school because it's the school that J.K. Rowling went to as a student. And I had Dumbledore's office, Ken Smith, the first head teacher, she modelled him on. And that school was on its knees. And I know absolutely what a positive school culture and looking outward means for a school and school improvement and building up staff and creating opportunities and creating moments. And, you know, it's not, I'll make a terrible pun here, it's not wizardry, it's not magic. It actually is about making sure that everything we do, we are doing all those things like celebrating, we're doing all those things like looking at where we can make different connections. What can we bring back that would fit into our school? What can we bring back and put into our curriculum? What will make a science lesson that isn't going very well have a bit more oomph? What will engage a group of disaffected learners on a Wednesday afternoon that, you know, talking to another school around the world, or being able to talk to a speaker online live about the very issue they've taken from their abstract textbooks? And I'm really proud of this, and I like what it generates, because as we know, you know, I can't remember the name, it's Derek Sivers, I think, on TED, the guy dancing in the field that takes his shirt off to create a movement. We know that people then join you, and we know that our champions start to sort of, you know, do this around the school, and once it starts to mushroom and grow, that's when your school culture isn't just something in an abstract brochure that you're trying to sell your school on, but actually it's what you see every day in your corridors, in your classrooms. It's what people do and say every day. You know, we have an open door policy, or we have an approachability to sort of, you know, share ideas and literally do open doors, do literally go out and talk to students like we do as all good school leaders, being on the school gates, and actually talk about all these things. And this sounds really sort of easy and linear, but and sort of sequential, but we know it isn't, because we've also had this incredible backdrop of a pandemic to try and put all of this into context, to try and make certain the uncertain world that our young people are facing, what our colleagues are dealing with. When we were online for 3 months to start the crisis, and we had the military on the streets, and we had soldiers with guns, young boys with guns, and people stuck in their apartments, because it's Chisinau and lots of people are in these old Soviet apartments, my teachers with their families cramped into the same spaces. I can't imagine in any circumstances asking people to kind of, you know, go out there or go online and make sure that we keep, you know, our school together and we keep our children learning. But they did it. And that's what makes me really proud of this profession, and why we've got to also make sure that we are succession planning and recruiting and retaining all these good people, these young people that we can pass this torch on to. And I think this moment in this pandemic is where we're standing up as a profession. We're actually showing the power of education, the value of teachers and good schools, and making sure that we continue all that forward. And that's what I think is encapsulated in most of all of this. For us, being a Global School Alliance school is a wonderful opportunity, and we love working with our colleagues in GSA. We've been working with schools in Tunisia on the Global Culture Project. My head of Global Education, Tatiana Popper, been working with a great guy, Fethi, and his students there. This has had a really good transformative effect on us. I've really liked the sophistication of the project. I love the support that GSA give us. I like the fact we're not sort of surrounded by tons and tons of rules or ticking boxes to achieve something that sometimes you might get from the odd e-twinning or filling in a British Council form. I think GSA is a very refreshing approach to you know, global education and school networks and partnering. So for us, it's been a really important part of our entire strategy of where we see ourselves and being within this group of remarkable schools. And again, having the scope of having those as our partners to be able to partner and network with. So bring it on a downer now. For 2022, all of us are probably in our sort of thoughts wondering what this year will bring. And, you know, I'm watching what's happening in the UK because my 3 children are at school in the UK, and I've got lots of colleagues that I speak to daily. It will happen, and we will prepare, and we'll go online, and we'll do exactly what we did in 21, and we'll do all the things that I've talked about and what you do in your schools as this kind of engulfs. We've seen what science did last time. We will continue. It is exhausting. It is wearing. We've got to have the resilience for this. But I think what we do in our schools and the sort of the reason why we're in education keeps us going. And I think we find strength and we find comfort in working with others. I think that's what an outward facing mindset means. So looking at all of this sometimes and doom scrolling at 3 AM on your phone or your tablet, you know, we're trying to tell our students to kind of see the world in different perspective and be more reflective and more lessons. And I think being reflective on that experience is really powerful as we go into 2022. So we have been here before. I think often when, I don't know about you, but I've been at a lot of conferences because there's been a sort of a proliferation of online conferences because it's easier. We're not paying to go and fly anywhere or travel on a train or get cover, or, you know, I think that's been a really good sign of bringing educators together around the world more. But sometimes maybe there have been too many conferences. I also think that sometimes the moment to tell us that our paradigm shift or reimagine education is going to be like this, and I know Parsi Solberg has made a good point about this, that actually we're still in the pandemic. I think there's nothing wrong with thinking about the future and what's changed. And I saw a good report about parents' evenings being online as a good thing. But actually, we've got to get through this, and it could be another year. Dr. Fauci did talk about 2023 and 2020, and we all laughed. We will always be practical and pragmatic as school leaders and teachers and school communities. We always hope for the best, we plan for the worst. That's ingrained in us like a stick of Blackpool rock. I said our SIPs are about surviving and thriving in their raw element. They always are. They change, they adapt. It's not a fixed document. How we plan our futures and how we improve our schools We don't have Ofsted in the way that you have it in England and those kind of pressures. And it's interesting that those have been suspended now with the new virus. And we've seen the professional voices speaking collectively and loudly about the pressures on schools there. But we're always adapting and we're always sort of trying to survive. We put our students and our staff at the centre of everything we do. We've done that for 2 years now. We do that anyway, and that's our lodestar. We find solutions. You know, we can do physical school, we do hybrid, we do online. We just make sure education is not a victim of COVID. And this resilience that we grow by talking to each other all the time, by linking up in sessions like this, that's our strength. We don't focus on the wrong things. The obsession with catch-up curriculum, and I don't know if you've seen the obscenity of the money wasted on the tutoring scheme in England. Don't get me started on Turing and Capita and the contract there going from the British Council. But there's no point. There's no point us obsessing on those things. We've got to just continue doing what we do in our schools and our classrooms, compelling learning, innovative opportunities. We know there are uncertain times, they'll continue. We know the context. Sometimes our parents perhaps are forgetting that it's not normal. There's no point using the word normal at any point. And sometimes it's a reminder is important, but we know where we are in 2022 coming up. I want to just finish on and finally from the Varkey Foundation. They took a quote that I gave in a talk, and I hope you don't mind. I'm not doing this to boast, but I read it back and thought, did I actually say that? But so I was sort of in my talk. I said, I have the honour to serve a school community. It's exhausting, it's challenging, it can leave us doubting, it requires an inordinate amount of energy, but it's the best job in the world, and we can be proud of what we do daily to make a positive difference. And I absolutely believe in that, whether we're in a pandemic or not. And increasingly, we know that we are having to do this, and we are doing it. And what we've learned from 2021 is that we'll continue doing it as well. And John Dewey said, it's not the experience that we learn from, it's the reflection on the experience. And so when we get into our Christmas break, our vacations, we will reflect on that experience. We'll see what worked, what didn't work. We'll have our mince pie and our glass of sherry, and we'll celebrate a new year in with some fireworks, and we'll pick our stomachs up, and we'll get ourselves into that cold, dark days in January and the festive cheer out of our heads. And we'll go on again for our students for the next term. And that's what we do. And if we're online, we're online. If we're hybrid, but we'll continue. So we've all learned a lot from 2021, and we'll continue to apply all of that in 2022. And so thank you for listening. I hope I haven't run over too much, Tony. If ever you're in Moldova, they make amazing wine, great food, and they're great people. You'd be very welcome to come and join us. Thank you.
Oh, Rob, thank you. I was looking in the chat to try and find some questions for you, but you know, everyone's just saying what an inspiration you are. Thank you so much.
I can't see anybody or anything, so I apologise. I've just been talking to the screen. You could have disappeared, like the caretaker's looking at me strange here. So there we go.
No, you did that. That was inspirational, and I think that's what the feeling we're getting from everybody is that. Thank you so much for sharing. You are a role model, apparently, according to David in Uganda. Tatiana says, without your leadership, it's leaders like you that make the difference to schools. So thank you so much, and thank you for sharing. And I don't care how much we run over, it's fine. We're still having a little problem with Mona, but we do have actually another 5 minutes from a sponsor who'd like to share something with us. So actually, Nimish, are you there from WeBox? Would WeBox like to share your screen?
Yes, Tony, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Wish you a very good evening. My name is Nimish Chaudhary. I head the international business for WeBox. We do realize that the last 18-20 months have been very crucial for the entire humanity, and survival kind of became a challenge for us. But I reckon we've grown, we've kind of survived, and we are in the process of learning and unlearning things. To quickly run you through, 5 minutes was quite a challenge to squeeze the entire process, but let me run you through the entire sheet. We started our journey in the year 2009. So it's been about nearly 12 years since we've been offering SaaS and RPaaS services in India. Majority of the 3 verticals that we cater to happen to be the education fraternity, the corporates, and the government. When you talk about the corporates, majority of the Fortune 500 companies in India, be it IBM, HP, Accenture, KPMG, EY, they happen to be our clients in India, and they've been using our services for their fresher hiring, lateral hiring, and then post L&D programs through and throughout over the last couple of years. When we talk about education fraternity, I don't know if if anybody of knew, but the most prestigious institutions like the Indian Institute of Technology, the IITs and the IIMs, they happen to be our clients. We have Delhi University, we have Pune University, and last financial year 2020, we conducted over 11 million over 11 million assessments standalone in India in India itself, of which over 750,000 were remote proctored AI driven assessments. And this is what we've been able to scale our operations to. In the year 2020, November, December is when we started thinking of going international. And in the last 1 year, we've been able to successfully establish our footprint in about 7 countries. One of the biggest laurels that we think about ourselves happens to be the India Skills Report, wherein on behalf of Government of India, we conduct the ISR every year, and it's the 9th year that we conducted in succession. And in ISR, we map the existing skill set available in the country. What is the skill set expected in the years to come by the corporates? That's part A of the entire exercise. And part B is that we try and evaluate what is the existing technology and what are the emerging technologies, how the technology would shape up. To give you a very small example, once we started the year 2000, 2001, C++ was into 4A. By the time we came down into 2010, 11, Java came into prominence. And today, sitting at 21, 22, Python seems to be the emerging technology. So on behalf of Government of India, we map these 2 aspects of the entire existence, which is the skill set available and technology. We, along with UNDP, which happens to be a partner in India, and CII, which is the Confederation of Indian Industries, we submit this report to Government of India, and once Government of India vets it, we release this report. Going forward, last 12 months, this is the presence we have. So we are headquartered in India. We have our partner offices in the UK and in Singapore. And we've been able to successfully make inroads in South Africa, Kenya, UAE, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Australia, and the Thailand. Now, when we talk about platform, the 2 biggest requirements that come into mind is the security of data, the security of the platform, the security of the assessment tool itself, and to what extent are we able to scale up the requirement. So for high-stake examinations, we have something called a safe exam browser, where while the student is undertaking that assessment, the entire system, the PC or the laptop that gets logged, and the student cannot take up any other activity but to appear for that examination. The entire platform, including at the cloud level, is encrypted at 120 bits, and this is one of the highest standards of encryption that we follow up. We have firewalls at the cloud level, and there is something which we call as we have an environment check, where the entire process and the entire starting initiation of the entire examination process is checked prior to undertaking the examination. That's where the things work out for it. A few features that we talk about is something called as a room scan. So in case if there's a proctor who believes that a student is trying to indulge in any malpractices or any form of cheating, the proctor can try and ask for a room scan, and a 360-degree view of the room can be shown to the proctor to ensure that there is no second person available, or there is no mechanism through which the student is trying to take up any cheating process. The second important feature happens to be an object identification, where if I'm using a headphone or a mobile phone or any other gadget, the AI will capture the entire the entire current scenario, warn the proctor, and then the proctor can take a necessary action. By the end of 2019, we had around 30 parameters which were integrated using AI. And by the time the pandemic started and we started getting into a lot of integration in terms of the requirements and features sought after, today sitting at 2021 end, there are about 60 plus parameters that have been integrated into AI. And that's what helps us define a much more comprehensive, a secure and a scalable platform that we are able to offer. The third feature which we talk about is that there's a waiting lounge where students, while they're coming to board on the examination, their validation is done, their identities are checked, both in terms of their documents and their face. And once the entire process is completed, which can be manual or can be automated using an AI, that's where the entire student is allowed to enter into the examination. As I said, these are two major concerns that all of our partners have sought after, which is scalability. We happen to be partnered with Microsoft, and we are hosted on Microsoft Azure, which has about 54 data hosting points across the globe. So we have the capability of hosting any available data in any of these 54 regions and trying to offer a solution where they are more scalable and secure. In terms of security, we are ISO 27001, 27017, 18, 23, 2003, and 1 certified. We are SOC type 123. We are Cloud Security Alliance with STAR certification. We, as a process, follow the entire European Union GDPR protocols, and we adhere to majority of the 1988 Australia Data Privacy Act. So when it comes to security, we are pretty particular about as to what levels of security we are able to offer. And the one of the best features about that is we are highly customizable. So in case if you are willing to have some particular features that need to be incorporated in terms of the security and they are viable in terms of the platform integration, we are more than happy to do that. Besides this, every quarter, Ernst & Young does our internal audit in the processes that we take up while offering the entire assessment, and that's something which we very rigorously follow. When we look about the K-12 segment, the products that we offer are remote proctored assessment solutions, and these are primarily AI driven. And proctoring is a very key essential component of it. And this is something which we recommend for high-stake examinations, exams which are pretty serious, where the marking has to be very, very strict, and then there has to be sincerity in terms of the examination happening. The second offering we have is a Test Now, which is primarily used on any smartphone. It could be in Android, it could be in iOS. The idea of a Test Now is just to have an assessment done by the student as to what has been the learning after every check, after every unit or chapter. And these are not very high in examination. So the students or the faculty completes a particular unit or a chapter and they want to assess what kind of a learning has been by every student. And that's where we help with this Test Now. We have something called as a Digimark, which is kind of an automated process in evaluating the subjective answers of all the students. One of the features in our platform is that in case if a student wants to scribble down an answer and upload it on the platform, that's a feature which can be done using a QR code. The fourth product that we talk about for the K-12 segment is the Barrow Test. Now, normally you would agree that a child between the age of 12 and 14 is not clear as to what career path he or she would want to have. So what happens is in this Barrow Test, depending upon the personality, the cognitive skills or the psychometric personality of every child, we evaluate the child, we help them with 2 or 3 career options which might suit best to their personality. Now, if I look at myself when I was a kid, I was not very good at engineering, but I realized that I would want to go out and then meet people. And that's where probably management became for maybe one of the preferred destinations because I had somebody to coach me. But Barrow is a test which is a very comprehensive test which actually gives you an insight about a child's personality and a behavior. And it takes care of the big 5 elements in it. And then we have something which is a Speak Now, which actually evaluates every student on the proficiency of English. It could be spoken, verbal, vocabulary, and all the parameters that are involved into it. So this is something that we've been doing rigorously. If I look at few of the marking lines,
I'm sorry to interrupt, Nimish, but you've gone way over the 5 minutes. Are you able to sum up for everyone? Are you okay just to sum up? Maybe do a quick summary.
Absolutely. So this is what we do, and we are looking at expanding our footprint across the globe. We are looking at partners, and in case if you have any queries, please feel free to connect up with me. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Nimish. No worries. Like I say, if anyone does want to hear more about either of the 2 sponsors today, there is a link in the chat and we can give you their contact. You can get more information that way, because obviously I want to move on with our amazing speaker. So it looks like Mona is still struggling. So Irfan, are you okay to take the screen and introduce yourself?
Okay, I'll just set it up now.
Thank you, please.
Okay, good afternoon, evening, morning, or wherever you are in the world. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the wonderful Global School Alliance for giving this opportunity, especially to Tony, Hannah, Yasmin, and everyone else who's in the team. Let me just see if I can put the slideshow a second. Okay, got it. Okay, so first of all, I'll just tell you, oops, I'm getting a bit too excited. First of all, I'll tell you something about myself. Well, I'm actually working in the Agregado International School in Castellón in Spain. And before coming to Spain, I used to work in Finland. I lived in Kuwait as a child. And I've been teaching for 23 years now, 20 years in the school where I'm actually at present, and 3 years previously in Finland and England. Last year, I was voted in the top 60 teachers in the world with Cambridge University Press. And this is basically about the things I do in the school. Apart from promoting education in the school, I also make a big effort to make the students learn that there's more beyond education in the school. That's why the idea of a Global School Alliance interested us a lot. And something curious, I like sports a lot, so Taekwondo is a big thing in my life. Okay, so my school is formed 20 years ago. It's called the Agregado International School. And it's been recognized worldwide because even though it's in a small town in Spain, Castellón, which is, if you know anything about Spain, it's on the Mediterranean coast between Barcelona and Valencia. It's a small place, but we've grown quite a lot. We're recognized worldwide for our IB school, which is at the moment the 5th best in Europe for the marks that we have. First of all, I'm going to tell you something about our school, and then I'll tell you how we've progressed and adapted to the situation currently, specifically with the COVID. So we have 5 main things in our school. Obviously, the International Baccalaureate, which are model for the future that we based our students on. Multilingualism. Being in this part of Spain, we teach our students Spanish, English, the local language, which is Valencian, and then we also have other languages like German, French, which is in the curriculum, or Chinese. Music and expression, because apart from just learning the curricular subjects, we really want to make the students more creative. Later I'll explain about that. Sport and health, as the famous saying goes, mens sana in corpore sano. It's very important not just to be behind a book, but also to be active and moving. And of course, shaping the world, as this conference is about. We're all together here. We're global citizens, and the idea is to make our students, the next generation, to be global citizens as well. Okay, we have a lot of empathy in our school. We teach our students, especially in this day and age, that even though we've got problems with COVID and we have to wear a mask all the time, there's a lot of restrictions, there are other parts of the world which are suffering more than that. COVID is the least of their worries. So what we do is, for example, here's an example of what I did about 5 years ago, where we made some students that had the idea, because I had a long beard, that I'll donate my beard to charity, specifically to an orphanage in Burkina Faso. So we explained this to all the children, and eventually we voted for 2 students and they took my beard off. Luckily, it's come back again. Also, we have in the IB program something called Community Action and Service, where the students of the IB program, with the help of any other volunteer students around the school, even the young learners, help in different activities. For example, at this moment, we're in a Christmas program, and we're working with a Spanish organization called Caritas, where we're collecting warm material, old clothes to give to the needy in this part of the world. Okay, we've done music and performing arts, which involves many different activities for the students to do. We've organized theaters. Same thing, we did musicals and theaters, and these all help if we receive funds for them towards charities as well. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we've had to do these activities online. So we've had our orchestra online with the video camera, with the Zoom on top, and it was shown like that. But in previous years, we have done these traveling around different areas. So we've adapted to this. Like Rob said before, you can't stop with COVID. You have the restrictions, you take the protocol that necessary, but you've got to move ahead. So at this moment, the best thing to do is we have the technology as we're doing now, speaking with the video conference, and all of these things can be done with that. Okay, we promote sports and health a lot. Even though sports activities like the Olympics are done, you know, when you travel and you're in contact and the students can participate. Last year, because of the COVID, there was a big thing for the students because many of our students play sports. So we decided to do an activity with other schools, but we filmed them doing an activity. For example, if you had to do a 100-meter race, we filmed it, we timed it, and we sent it virtually with the scores to another school, and they did the same vice versa. Okay, and just to motivate the students that, you know, you can't be just sitting down, you can't have social distancing. This is an old photo, of course, before COVID, where they had the trophy, but we did a kind of sports event where the students were separated, we filmed them, and they still won trophies as well. Just to motivate the students that you don't give the sports, one day the COVID will be over and, you know, we're back to normal. We also taught other types of things. For example, this is an activity I did in class. We taught the students about airport safety. So we made a class and we separated like an airline, and we showed them about how to travel because some of these students haven't traveled before. So this part of health is not only about doing sports, eating healthily, but also about precautions. This is a precursor to show them a precursor can be like this. It can be a precursor about how to protect yourself for the health. For example, we all wear masks. This is an old photo, like I said before. Now for this activity, we did a video of this previously, and we just showed it to the students. Okay, one thing that we noticed that's affected the most is our international exchange programs. Our students have traveled to different parts of the world. Here specifically, it was in France, Germany, and some students came here, took them to Valencia, we went to Canada, and all of these have stopped, unfortunately, because of COVID. Okay, and it's something that affected the students a lot because they really want to travel. But it hasn't stopped us because we've told the students, okay, we're in contact with a school in Germany, we can't go there now, but at the moment, we've made a virtual call with them. So it's been like kind of virtual pen pals. The students are in contact with each other virtually. So they show each other the schools, what they do at home, etc. And hopefully, in a few years, we could maintain that contact. When things are okay to travel again, we'll start this all up again. So what we try to do is we motivate the students that, you know, at this moment, there's a difficult time, you can't do much, but we give them the hope that eventually this is going to stop and you can do things after that. Another thing we did to promote a global society is a model United Nations. For example, we gave students in different countries, okay, that they're not aware of, and they have to learn about them and present it like they're actually members of the United Nations. We also had some guest speakers who were military or ambassadors from different countries. Here, just for the event for presenting, I dressed up like a Maharaja, someone from India. In our school also, like being part of the Global School Alliance, we're also part of many other different associations. For example, the International School Association, which is one of the oldest in the world. And this also helps our students to see different ways of thinking. For example, this is just before the COVID. Literally, it was in, I think in December 2019. So after that, there's the last international event we did. So we had students who came from all over the world. We had from Senegal, Australia, South America, and we did different activities to teach the students about youth leadership. So they give them a topic related to global issues, and we let them express themselves. We did it last year and this year, but online. Okay, so we didn't give up the way that of the students getting together. We still made the students get together in different virtual classrooms to discuss their points. Okay, and finally, I'd just like to mention about the Bishop Stortford College, because being part of the Global School Alliance, we've also had this wonderful opportunity with the help of Ruth and Angustias in the school to help our students. When we first started the Global School Alliance program, it was in this time, directly in the times of COVID. So I had, when I first started out, a bit of skepticism about how this would work out. But it worked out much better than expected. I spoke to my students just day before yesterday about this. There are year 9 students between the two schools, and they spoke about very, very different topics. They spoke about the value of the school. They communicated in one part in English and exchange in Spanish. They collaborated many things, and they even showed a video of the school. And using the GSA platform, the students were with the teachers. I mean, I was quite impressed how it worked out. So the idea is that even though this is an online thing, hopefully in the future, we can continue this in a more, like Tony said, actually go to the places where you are. So the idea is that even though we've got many limitations this year, I think that we're adapting to this, and students who learn from what the teachers see, if they see the teachers are working in a way that's very positive, you can't travel now, but you can do this, giving alternatives, they'll go through this quite smoothly without any problem. Okay, in the future, what we'd like to do is, hopefully when the world is healthier, is to continue with all these things I've shown you. And also, I don't know how to explain this. Apart from that, get the students to actually move more themselves. There's a very famous quote that I like. I've been using it since I was a child, about a rainbow. And it explains that if you put up with the rain, you'll see a rainbow. And I think that refers to everything. I'm Irfan Gazdar. Thank you for your attention. And let me see if I can close this screen.
Thank you, Irfan. That is, again, inspirational and an amazing school. And seeing all those students together does make you can't wait for travel again to actually physically visit each other. But in the meantime, we're going to make the most of what we can do online, can't we? So like you say, there are ways that we can still connect and still engage with each other online for now, until we can all visit each other again and visit and try sample food and wine like everyone seems to encourage us to. I'm not sure if Mona has managed to rejoin us. No, am I having a shake of that? Is that a shake of a head there? I think that's, oh dear. That is a bit of a pity, unfortunately. So we don't have Mona, I'm afraid, but we did have 2 amazing speakers. And we do have, if anyone has any, for some reason my PowerPoint isn't going to work now either. If anyone has any questions, are there any questions for our speakers that we've had this evening? Who'd like to, anyone would like to raise the hand and either ask them any questions or have anything else they'd like to add the comments to. If anyone wants to, if you want to raise your hand, I'm quite happy, or unmute. We're quite happy to have a bit of feedback from all our wonderful members that are with us this evening. Is anyone, would anyone like to? Oh, Andrew Jatta. Andrew, would you like to unmute yourself? Have you got something you'd like to share?
Yes, good evening, everyone.
Hi, Andrew.
How are you? Yeah, it's a pleasure, really. And my school in Gambia have recently registered, and we are given a certificate as a member of Global School Alliance, which is a great honor for us to be part of this journey in education. And we believe we can learn a lot of things. Like at the moment, I am always trying to connect in the webinars that are going on to catch up. But I believe the exchange program between schools and trying to connect will help a lot in terms of cultural values of different countries, to make sure that learning can be out of your comfort zone. Because if students from different, like in West African students are trying to show their culture, what they are about to other kids around the world, there must be a connection, and that connection will go a long way in their future. So I believe you guys are on the right track, and keep it up. I really appreciate to be part of it. And I am the focal person, like here. I am the one managing the system here. So me connecting, and I want to introduce our teachers. At the end of the term, we have a meeting where I'll introduce teachers to register on the platform. So it's really a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrew. Well said. Wonderful. I see we have, I'm afraid I don't know if I can pronounce your name, Rajapaksha. Would you like to unmute and share? Sorry about your name.
Okay. Hello everybody. I'm from Sri Lanka. Actually, yesterday I joined the GSA, and today I joined the this conference, and I think it was very nice. It is very interesting. Actually, I am a teacher in Sri Lanka who is currently working in very rural area. So my students are very which are innocent, and we have some kind of problems in technology also. So we are doing great, struggling to give the education during this COVID period. But I think this platform is very valuable for me, because I can get a lot of idea regarding technology based practices in the world in the education. I think thank you very much initiating and establishing this kind of works, and I will be with you forever. That's what. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your feedback. I have been reminded that we didn't actually manage the poll before. Yasmin, are we able to try and run the poll again to set some feedback from the members in general?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Do I need to stop sharing for you to do that?
No.
Okay. Please try and launch the poll so we can get, so the questions were, what have you learned? Do you think that this year has improved your teaching practice or sent you backwards? So if you could like to connect, it looks very positive. Wow, that is amazing. We've got almost 80% of you saying that it has improved your teaching practice this challenging year we've had. Nobody is saying that it hasn't. It's amazing. Fantastic. Okay, thank you for sharing. Do you want to summarize that for us, Yasmin? Can we summarize the poll now? Because that is amazing. The results are 71% said yes. Basically, this year, or 18 months, nearly 2 years that we've had of challenge has improved their actual teaching practice. I think sometimes we can get a little bit stuck in the rut, I suppose, of the way we do things and how we do things. So a bit of a shake-up hasn't been a bad thing. Wow, thank you for sharing that. I'm trying to say that, so does anyone else want to interact again anymore? Because other than that, what we'll do is, I think we have a Padlet going. The link is in the collection, isn't it? So if anyone wanted to put comments on the Padlet as well, we'll share the summary of the Padlet later on to members. Again, if you're not a member, please join the platform and contribute, share, be part of this community and grow with us and share your wisdom. People like Ofan and Rob are helping us with some fantastic ideas and inspiration on what we can be doing. So like I say, I hope you all have a nice break over Christmas if you do get a break. And join us again for our in next year for our future webinars. Like the next one is the most exciting one. We'll have another educational conference. We have lots of other things to participate in, competitions, your culture postcards, online programs. We're developing out more and more. And if there are things that you find we haven't got on the platform that you'd like to either contribute, help us build, give us some ideas for, please do communicate with us, and we will build it to be fit for purpose for everybody. Was there anything else? I think that's all I've got on the presentation. Yasmin, is there anything else we need to share, or is there any other members who might like to share with us before we call it a day? Is there anything in the chat? I haven't seen the chat.
I don't know. Any of the members want to talk about how their year has been in the school year this year?
Sorry, Henrietta?
Would any of the members want to talk about how their school year has been as well? Because Rob did reflect, and so did Arfan, on like how the pandemic has affected them and stuff like that. So would anyone want to also reflect on what their year has been like?
Yes, so we have Miss Amna. Would you like to unmute and share? Amna? I see you have your hand raised. Well done. Can you unmute? Sorry, Ms. Amlo, are you there? You've got your hand raised. Would you like to share? I'm not sure we can hear you.
The internet might have gone up.
Oh dear. I'm sorry, maybe Miss Anna could put it in the chat. I'm very sorry, we
Thank
can't
you
see
so
it.
much, GSA, for giving us the opportunity, and my students even learn well, and the cultural exchange program is really amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Is there anybody else who'd like to? Andrew, is your hand still remain from before, or did you want to add something else? No, I think it did. So if anyone else would like to, if you raise your hand, I'm quite happy to give you the floor if you would like to share something with the rest of the members before we finish this evening.
Just like to add, if you've got any interest in what you've heard from our sponsors, we've put the link into the chat, so you can just go ahead and click on it. Otherwise, that's everything.
Fantastic. I see David's with us. David, you've got your hand raised. Would you like to contribute?
Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you, Tony, for everything. Your work is so much commendable. Very good evening from Uganda. I welcome everyone who has attended today, and I thank much the presenters of today. Thank you so much for whatever you have done today. You have inspired most of us. Thank you, Mr. Rob, for inspiring us. You had a very, very, very good idea that has inspired us. So, Miss Tony, just I would like to request you that you also spare time for us in Uganda here. Most educators are requesting me to organize a webinar where you can also encourage us and tell us how we can.
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying, David. Yes, I would be delighted to do a presentation for all the Ugandan schools. Like I say, if anybody wants anything like that, I'm quite happy to come and give a chat and explain more about the Global School Alliance, how you can be involved, how we can support you, and that's fine on a one-to-one. We will arrange that in the new year, David. Thank you.
Okay, I'll commit myself to get more educators get involved in our education system. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. It's inspirational people like yourselves who are spreading the word in countries. Like I say, we have a great group growing in East Africa, thanks to you. Like I say, we have groups, massive big groups, Romania and Moldova, all due to those wonderful inspirational leaders and people of influence in that area. So thank you all for your contributions too, as part of the members. So I think that's probably, we've come to the end of today's conference, and we're looking forward to next year. So hopefully we will see you all again in 2002. I'm going to see us out with our wonderful music again. Okay, so I'm going to play that, our lovely Global School Alliance, if I can find it, I beg your pardon, song, which is on the platform here.
Probably 2022.
That is scary, isn't it? So we'll play us out with a couple more of our songs, and see you all next year. Thanks, guys.